Well, hello everybody. Welcome to today's interview. I am your host, Dr. Do Deals, aka Tim Mai. And this show it's about what's making money right now. We interview investors all around the country and find out exactly what's making money for them right now in 2012. And so I'm really excited to have AC Ramos on the line with us today. AC is actually here in Houston with me, and he's one of the, he's one of the one of the top wholesalers here in town. Very active in his real estate business, and I'm really excited to have him on the line with us today. So, AC, say hi to everybody real quick.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Awesome. Well, let's start with let's start with you sharing everybody a little bit about yourself and how you got started in real estate.
Actually, I started in like late 2003, early 2004. Got my real estate license. Was a real estate agent for about 6 months, and kind of decided I really didn't like showing people houses and all the running around involved with being an agent. And I saw one of those commercials for learn how to buy real estate with no money down, and I was sold. I was like, I'm going to that, and ended up taking the class and never looked back. Ended up, wholesaling. I did about 169,000 my first year wholesaling. I was like, man, that's way better than being a real estate agent. I'm hooked. That's about how I got started, and I've been wholesaling ever since. I had some rental properties. We're building some more portfolios with rental properties now, and I've done rehab, so I've done a little bit of everything, but wholesaling is my favorite thing to do. I like the marketing, the negotiating, the art of the deal.
Got it. Totally get that. So what would you say if you, I don't know if you remember, but you started in 2003, right? So since then until now, about how many deals you think you have done?
I've been involved with almost about 300 deals now. Wow. I think I added up some, so I should be right around 300 now.
Okay, what is your average? How many deals per month are you currently averaging, like right now, this year?
We just closed. We did 2 this month, and I did 28 deals last year and 26 the year before. So I average about 2 a month, a little bit more. I'm looking to up that this year. I've put together a team of people to help me acquisition some properties. Some acquisition specialists here I'm training, and then we added a sales specialist, Anna, and she's real good at moving our properties. So we're looking to build up inventory and stack them deep and get them cheap.
Awesome, that's great. And what would you say would be your average profit per deal?
We average about 4,700 an assignment fee. Some are high, some are low. We did one for as little as $375 one time, but average all out, we average about 4,700, $5,000 a deal.
And what is the most you have ever made on a deal before?
That was one we just did. Actually, we did an assignment fee of $55,000.
Wow, that's awesome.
That was just in I think in November, just now, right before the end of the year.
Assignment of 55,000. That's definitely that's definitely a great payday for sure. So did you celebrate? Did you guys gone anywhere to celebrate that?
Oh yeah, we went out to dinner. We had a little team get together. A few people that were involved there, but it was a pretty exciting one. You don't usually see those all the time.
Right, exactly, right. And I mean, not in wholesaling, anyways.
Exactly. Yeah. Not in wholesaling.
Right. Awesome. I think my highest profit on a wholesale deal was 44,000. So you totally beat me by quite a bit.
Oh, man, yeah, they don't. I was pretty surprised myself.
Awesome. So let's. One of my favorite deals to talk about is the first deal, because the first deal is for everybody. It's like the most difficult deal. It's the deal where it's either make you or break you. You either do that first deal, and you get hooked, and you're in it forever, like you said, or you do that first deal and you're like, ugh, real estate is not for me. This is way too difficult.
Exactly.
and or you do that first deal and you're like, oh, this is like the worst thing ever. It's so difficult. It's so time consuming. And this is not how I want to make money, and you just move on to a different business or do something else. Or a lot of people never get to their first deal. So let's talk about that. Share with us about your first deal. What was that experience like? What was that deal like?
My first deal was a probate deal actually, and I remember it was I just left the class where I learned how to get the contract and how to do the assignments and everything. I was so stoked when I left the class, and I remember just writing all my little letters, to all the vacant properties, and got a probate list and was writing all my little letters there and sending them out. And I got a response, and it had been 28 days since I left that class. And I remember my goal was to hit the deal within 30 days. On the 28th day from leaving that class, I got a probate under contract and actually assigned it in less than 5 days and made $14,000 on that deal. And that was the deal that got me hooked. You're exactly right. When you do one like that and you put the work into it and you see the reward and see what is possible in this business, and that's just the tip of it. There's a lot of deals like that are possible in this business, and that had me going. I was no looking back from that point.
That's awesome. And I like that. I like how you got out of the event and you actually set a goal. You set a goal to, okay, I'm going to do a deal in the first 30 days. Because a lot of people get, they get really excited at the seminar. And after the seminar's over, that excitement wears off and they don't really take much action from what they've learned. But you actually, you said to yourself, you know what? I'm going to set a goal. I'm going to do it in 30 days. And so you went out there and actually, get a list of probate, wrote letters, mail it out, find vacant houses, mail it out. Right. So how many letters you think you sent out during that 30 days to finally found that deal?
I sent out about 150 letters that month. I remember sending out altogether with the probates and some vacant houses. It was about 150 letters. And I had some phone calls that were, some weren't very nice before I got that actual one that turned into a deal. I think that's the hardest part is people sticking with it until, following through until you actually get the deal. They take any kind of rejection and it'll just take you right off course.
Right.
Yeah,
yes, I totally hear you about that. Totally agree with you there. And all right, so you got this deal, and it's a probate deal. Normally, probates has a lot of title issues and airship affidavit stuff like that. Did you have any challenges with the title at all?
This particular deal the will had been probated. So they had already been past all that. I've had to deal with that a few times since then. Most of the time I let the title company handle it. And if there's something they can't resolve, I have a really good real estate attorney.
Okay, that's good. All right, so it's a clean probate deal. That's a good thing.
Oh, yeah. Always a good
yeah, because I've had all kinds of fun experience with probate deals in the past. All right, so so you found a deal, and so you wrote out the letters, and then the sellers call you. They call you, and did you give out your cell phone? They call you directly?
Yes, back when I started with just my cell phone and my laptop. I was actually living in a storage room behind one of my family members' houses.
Wow.
And a 12 by 12. It was a nice storage room, but still a storage room. And I was I was at rock bottom, and that's what made me decide. I said, this is what I'm going to do, and I just went out and did it and just, kept going.
That's a really good point that you brought up, because I've seen this over and over. It's, especially on the first deal. It's like all the stars line up for us just perfectly to make our first deal happen, right? So you were at a place in your life, like you said, I was at rock bottom. I didn't really have any other choice. Like, I gotta do this or I die, right? It's like it's
Exactly.
it's that kind of commitment, right? And then so the timing was right for you, and then you went to a seminar. And so you know, you probably met the teacher and saw the people that are in the room. So you felt it was real. It's like, hey, this is real. Like people actually make money off of this, right? People actually make money buying and selling houses, and and you know, and then you learn from that, and you're like, okay, you know, if he can do it, I can do it, right? And I have the materials. You know, if there's any questions I have, I can always ask, you know, people. And then there's also that high that you get from the seminar too, you know, that every time yeah. And so those are some of the stars I see that lined up for you. And did you have anybody helping you at all when you first got started? Like maybe, you know, your spouse or friends or anything?
My wife was always she was a good support system, you know, especially during the tough times. I had a family member that actually helped me out. That's who was a house I was staying behind, and they actually lended me the $11,000 to go to the real estate class I went to. And when I hit that $14,000 deal on my first deal, I was able to pay the $11,000 back and use the other 3,000 to move out and do some marketing. And then like less than 3 weeks later, I hit my next deal for like 6,000. So I definitely had some help. You know, I mean, I have a good family and a good wife. So you know, it's always good to have a good support team.
That's
You know.
awesome. Okay, so it wasn't just a few $100 seminar. It was 1,000. It wasn't even a few $1,000 seminar. You're talking about a $11,000 you know, seminar or program that you were involved in. How at at the stage in your life at that time, how did you even have the guts to do something like that?
Oh, it was scary. I remember when I convinced my family member to do it, and she was like, okay, okay. And I remember for, you know, it was a week from the time we paid for it to the time we had to go to Fort Worth for the class and everything. And, you know, I heard everything. You know, I looked up the classes online, and other people are like, you know, I didn't learn nothing from this. So I'm getting nervous and scared. And my family members like, I hope this is going to work. I'm like, you got to trust me. I have a feeling about this. And then once I learned the wholesaling part, it just clicked. Everything made more sense when you have somebody explain it to you from a point of view of somebody who's actually done it and can and gives you all the little insights here and there. And it just clicked with me. It just seemed so simple, and I knew I could do it. I knew it as soon as I heard it. I felt it. That was what I wanted to do.
Got it. Okay. And so I assume part of the program is that were you able to, like, after the event is over, were you able to continue to, like, call up your mentor if you had questions and stuff like that?
Yeah, you could call them. You could. I think they gave you like 6 months to call them anytime. I never did call them back. I was like, once I knew it, I just took off with it. I never had to call them back. I tried to call them back to tell them about my first deal I did, and they never called me back actually. But yeah, I pretty much didn't need any more instruction. It was I was on my road there.
Got it. Okay, that's awesome. And so you mentioned, you know, you had a supportive wife, you had a family member that help out, loan you the money, you believe in you. I mean, having people who believe in you in your family is definitely very important. Did anybody help you writing those letters and sending out those letters, or help? You know, did your wife come along with you to drive around to neighborhoods looking for vacant houses or any of that?
No, I did all that by myself. That was I pretty much dedicated it, and I told myself, I said, if I'm gonna do this as a career, and I want to do this for, you know, and make money at it, I have to make myself do it like a job. You have to define what you want to do. I made myself go at certain hours to write letters and at certain hours to drive for vacant houses. And that's the hardest thing about being on your own and not having a boss, is doing something without being told or knowing to do it, you know. And you got to make yourself. You got to have that something inside of you that tells you, I have to do it now. I have to schedule these times. And I just stuck with it every day between 9 to 5. Instead of a real job, I was doing this.
Got it. Awesome. Okay. And so, um, Yeah. So pass forward now, right? Pass forward now. What type of deals is making, you know, what type of deals are you doing the most of in terms of like what type of leads? Yeah, that's making money for you right now.
Our best leads are coming from direct mail, which is absentee owners, in-state and out-of-state, probates. We've started doing a little bit of divorce records and and bandit signs. We use bandit signs here and there. We're starting to get back on those. We hit a pretty good deal. Made like 18,000 off of a bandit sign deal. So that was we're starting to do bandit signs again, direct mail. That's the best ones right
Got
now.
it. Okay. I like how you said started bandit signs again because I know when I first got started and when I went and put out bandit signs, I saw like maybe one or two other signs out there, right? And at one point.
Yeah.
At one point in our business where when I go out put out sign, there's like 20 other signs out there. Like, it's like, I mean, it was crazy. And then for a long time, the city start to, enforce that more and clean up a lot of those signs. And so now now I start to see people are putting out signs again, like what you're saying. Are you doing anything different with your signs now than you did before? Like I'll give you an example. One of the persons that I interview, now he doesn't put a bunch of them out at the same area anymore. So he spread them out. So he puts out, just a few. Like let's say you have, like back then when I put it out, right? You have an intersection. I would put 4 signs in that one intersection, like 4 different corners. And he changed his strategy now to like just put 1 sign out per intersection and kind of spread them out a little bit, so that way if the city ordinance see it or if there's some homeowners that see it, they don't get annoyed by it and take down the signs and stuff. So what about you? Is any of your strategy has changed with that?
I'm not cutting down on like how many I'm putting in an intersection. I try to hit all 4 corners if I can. I just try to stay away from the nicer areas, the nicer neighborhoods, areas with homeowners associations, because I'm finding before the city will even get there, even if you put them up on a Friday night, homeowners associations will take them down and call you about them. So, I find working class in neighborhoods where they don't necessarily call you in as fast or they don't get as much attention by the city.
Mm-hmm.
Little more areas like that.
Got it. Okay, cool. Right, and so you mentioned several different types of leads, but if you have to say one type of lead that's giving you the most deals, what would that be?
Absentee owners. Out of state.
Okay, out of state absentee owners. And then which type of leads give you the most profit per deal?
Probates probably give you more profit per deal. They are a good little sweet spot there. When you do hit a probate, usually it's a pretty good one because you're usually dealing with somebody who's very motivated to get rid of a property that they really just don't want to deal with. All the hassle that comes along with it. They weren't looking to have a property. They weren't landlording. Most of the time, they're just somebody who just got a property and weren't expecting it.
Right. And where do you buy your list? Where do you buy your list for absentee owners, and where do you buy your list for the probates?
I have a guy that I trained that he works with me now, and that's what we do. He gets it and he goes to the courthouse or however he does it. He puts the list together and does all that. And then List Source and Real Data or Data Real Quest, one of those, something like that for the absentee owners. That's who I was using. I use FreedomSoft now. I do everything through FreedomSoft.
Got it. Okay. And then what do you send out to them? Do you send out a postcard, letters? What do you send?
I send letters to the probates because it's more personal. You don't want to hit them with a postcard, obviously, and postcards to the absentee owners, just kind of letting them know, hey, I seen your property over here. I know you're way over there. Are you interested in selling? And I think the key point is you can do a lot of marketing. You have to follow up. The money is in the follow up. It really is.
Right. Exactly. Okay. And so, what do you do in your follow up? Like, do you call them up every, every X days, or what is your follow up system like?
Usually once we make an offer, I give them 3 or 4 days to respond. If they haven't responded, I have my assistant give them a call and say, hey, did you receive our contract offer that we faxed or emailed? And they'll say yes or no, or it was too low. And then usually that'll either open the gate to further negotiations right there. Or if they say no right there, we follow up with them every 30, 60, 90 days. So every 30 days, we hit them with a follow up after that.
Got it. Okay. And then, okay, so you follow up with them. Either you or your assistant, right, work on it, because you're saying you're hiring acquisition specialists now, right? So you follow up with them. You come out and negotiate the deal, get it under contract, right? And then is that at that time is when you start marketing for your buyers?
Yeah. Once we get it under contract, within 24 hours of us having an executed contract, we will set it up on our email blast, and we have about 9,000 buyers on our email list. So that's how we market and sell our properties. And we sell properties usually about 3 days. We sold 2 properties this week in less than 3 days on each of them from our email blast.
Okay. So this is a list that you built up throughout the years that you've been in business, right?
Yeah, over the whole 6-7 years now.
Okay, got it. And then when you sell to these people, do you normally assign it? Do you normally double close? What do you do?
I'm mostly always assign. Really, the only time I ever do any double closings is if it's an REO or bank owned, something like that where I have to. Because pretty much I try to give my investors a really good price. And if I'm giving them such a good price, they really shouldn't hassle with me too much about the assignment fee, no matter what it is the way I see it. And my buyers have been pretty good with it so far.
Got it. Okay. And then do you find yourself like selling to a lot of different buyers, or do you see yourself having, a handful of buyers that buys from you over and over again?
I have 2 or 3 buyers that buy multiple properties a year. But I'm finding that there's a lot more variety of buyers now because it's more landlords that are buying to hold for the long term. Whereas, in the boom in '04 to '06 or up to '06 there, it was, people just buying everything. The same people, you can sell everything to one person. They fix it and make money on it and sell it. But now it's more of a buy and hold. So it's more a variety of buyers now.
Got it. Okay. Do you do anything special to find buyers?
I send postcards and letters out to buyers, people who bought houses cash in different zip codes that we're looking for a buyer in, and bandit signs for buyers too, and just a lot of networking. Anytime I go, if I get a business card and they're a buyer, I put them on my list.
Got it. Okay. So what are your goals for 2012?
For 2012, we are looking to, by mid-year, have our assignment deals we're looking to close 8 to 10 assignment deals per month by mid-year. And we are currently right now lining up all of our private money lenders for building up our portfolio of rental properties. So we look to buy about 30 properties this year with private money.
Okay. So ramping up your wholesaling, and then also ramping up your rental portfolios as well, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
What made you decided to go to the rental properties move?
I've done rental properties before. I liquidated them a while back, and then now I just think right now is the time to get back in them. If it's during the upswing, so right now is the time to buy, and I'm going to try to get in there and get a few of them, and just it's the right time.
Are you, with your rental, are you focusing on like one area of town so that way all your rentals are together, or you don't care?
I don't really care, really. I mean, you know, in a closer area would be good, but I'm not gonna discriminate against any deal. It's pretty much gonna be just decided by the numbers.
Got it. Okay. Cool. And let me see here. So I have a challenge for you. All right. If you were to do this all over again, and you have to make money in 30 days, and you don't have your buyers list, you don't have any leads. The only thing you have is your marketing knowledge that you have now. Right? What would you do to make money within 30 days?
First thing I would do is I would start looking for vacant houses and tracking down the owners. And even to speed up the process, I would even try calling them instead of sending them a letter if I had to get it done in 30 days for sure. And you know, because you can, you know, look on white pages, look up the numbers, track them down, and until I find a deal and get it locked up. And then I would do pretty much the same thing to find a buyer. Just everywhere around the property, I would put out, you know, house for sale, worth X amount, for sale for X amount, you know, profit X amount, and then phone number, and get as many buyers calling as I could. I think that's the fastest way, you know, and people don't really realize how easy it is. If you have a commodity such as a distressed property at such a discounted price, you will find somebody to buy it.
Right. Right. Exactly. Okay. And do you have any special tip on negotiating with homeowners?
I think the biggest secret there is to listen. I know a lot of sellers are just, you know, you just ask them, so what's your reason for selling, or this and that, and they will let you know their whole life story. With, you know, I've been on the phone with a seller for an hour and a half, 2-3 hours one time, just listening to their story. But that's all they want. They just want somebody to listen. And then once they feel like they know you, it's a lot easier to get the negotiations going like that than as opposed to somebody who calls them and is kind of stiff with them or rude or trying to cut to the point. I've even had people tell me that I've offered less than other wholesalers, and they've gone with me because I listened to them and they just liked me better.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest key is listening.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree with that. I mean, you know, just listening and being present in general, it doesn't matter in any kind of business deals or any. It doesn't have to be business, just anything. Like you build rapport, you build bond and trust with that person a whole lot more if you listen to them. Because I guess that's what we lack in life. You know, we lack people wanting to listen to us, right?
Right. Everybody wants to talk. Nobody wants to listen.
Right. Nobody wants to listen to us. So when we have an opportunity to have somebody listen to us, you know, we appreciate that. Yeah, that's great that you mentioned that. So, what do you think? What do you think is your biggest secret to success?
I would think it'd have to be my stubbornness. Or drive, you know. I mean, you know, you have to. There's going to be downfalls when it gets tough. You can't just quit, you know. I mean, when the market changed, I mean, that was one of the biggest hurdles I had to overcome to stay in this business. Is everything shifted from, and like I said, you could have a handful of buyers and sell everything to them, as where now you need lots of buyers, and that almost put me out of business until I adjusted to the way it was working now. But if I could have just gave up then, but I decided whatever it was going to take, I was going to keep going and figure it out. So you can get over any obstacle and figure anything out. You just have to keep going at it. Just don't give up.
I like that. Okay. So, you know, if things don't work anymore, just tweak and fine tune it until you get it to work. And, you know, I'm sure I don't know if you've noticed it that way too. For when you get started in real estate investing, because a lot of time, and I find myself in situations like this with a lot of things, not just real estate, but a lot of things, is that when you buy a course or when you learn from somebody, sometimes it doesn't work exactly the way it works for that person or the way they taught it. Right? Because your market's different, your personality is different, and you know, every seller that you deal with is different, right? Every seller has a different situation. So every seller you deal with is different. Every buyer you deal with is different. Every title company you deal with is different. And so if you are expecting to get in this business and have it to be like exactly how, like, you know, by the book, right? Page by page, letter by letter. It's like, you know, if A happens, I expect B to happen, and if B doesn't happen, I'm gonna quit this business. You know, like, is that, you know, in this business, like, you know, you really have to be willing to adjust, right? And so tweak things a little bit. So if you do something and it didn't work, don't give up. Just tweak it a little bit. Figure out why it didn't work, what didn't work about it, and, you know, and then try something different until you come up with a formula that works for you. You know, because of your personality type, your situation, your mindset at the time. There's a lot of things that play a part in it. And so I totally agree with you there, AC, about, you know, just be stubborn about it, right? Just say, look, I'm gonna make this darn thing work, right? If it's the last thing I do, I'm just gonna make it work. Who cares?
That's it. That's exactly it. You can't let anybody stand in your way. You know, if I listened to everybody in the beginning, it was like, oh, that'll never work. You know, this will happen, that'll happen. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, you have to do it. You have to set your goals and drive toward them, and don't stop till you get there.
Right. Awesome. Okay. And so we're gonna wrap this up here, but before we wrap it up, I just want to see if do you have any other secrets or tactics or anything that you do differently that's unique, that you don't think anyone else is out there doing, that you're willing to share?
You know what? I don't really think I have a lot of secrets. I've pretty much seen what works for other people, and not tried to reinvent the wheel. If it's working for other people, and I knew it, and, you know, if I know that kind of marketing campaign works, just go with it. You know, it's all in the numbers. You know, if you get your message in front of enough people, you're going to get leads. If you get enough leads, you're going to get deals. If you get enough deals, you're going to get checks.
Got it. So your strategy isn't to, you know, to invent a new way of doing things, or, you know, or try to be creative or doing something different. Your strategy is, look, that wheel's working, and I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm just going to do that. I know that was working for other people, so I'm just going to do that. And you understand it's a numbers game. So the more people I get this thing in front of, the more deals I'm going to do. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Awesome, great. Well, AC, that was an awesome interview. I totally enjoyed it. I enjoyed you sharing with us about what's working for you, what's making money for you, how you went about doing your first deal, and the deals that you have now. And I really appreciate your time here. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Tim. I appreciate it, man. Anytime.
Awesome. Now, before we say bye to everybody, is there a website that you want to send people to if they want to learn more about you, check you out, you know, get on your buyers list, whatever?
Yeah. Definitely. If you're interested in a lot of the best deals in Houston, we have a website. It's cityscapeinvestors.com. It's Cityscape, CITISCAPE, investors.com. And you can join our buyers list there.
Okay, so investors is singular or plural?
It was plural with an S.
Plural, okay.
.com.
Cityscapeinvestors.com, right?
Yes,
awesome.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching this, listening in, and great talking to you guys. See you guys on the next interview. And thanks, AC. See you next time, buddy. Bye.
Later, Tim. Thanks.